Well, it's a great question, and part of it is I never thought of this as a career. I had a career in the private sector working in my family business, and the only thing that I've ever done in politics is be a state representative. I was never really interested in running for anything else. This is the thing I wanted to do, and the 2nd District, where I grew up, is the only place that I wanted to represent. But really it happened 14 or 15 years ago because I really cared about writing budgets. I was interested in how do you do this in a sustainable way and let people keep as much of their own resources as possible. And I thought that the experience that I'd had in the 2nd District would make me good at it. You know, I spent most of my time not writing budgets like I thought I would, but being part of leadership. In my 2nd term, I was asked to be House Republican floor leader, and after 6 years of that, I became House Republican leader. And what was strange about that is I'm not a naturally partisan person, but those are about the most partisan jobs you can have, especially in the minority. And so I tried to navigate that without becoming a poisonous partisan. And because I was in leadership all that time, my job was to help the caucus achieve as much as they possibly could. We've been in the minority that whole time, but I've had friends like Joe Schmick, like Ed Orcutt, and especially my seatmate Andrew Barkus, who I think have accomplished great things, and I hope that I've helped them do that. That's what you do in leadership. Well, I think for me, almost everything comes to a relationship. And I've got some very, very close friends here. And on occasion, even in the minority, we've accomplished some things. Probably the best choice that I made while I was here was as soon as I became House Republican leader, I asked my seatmate Andrew Barkus to be the ranking member on transportation. That has been a very bipartisan committee. I think that he has achieved really good things, not just for the state of Washington, where he's been the voice of reason and the voice of somebody who's been in the business world and understood how to create a budget, but for the 2nd District as well. And I'm really excited that some of the things that he and I have aimed at for a long time are going to be achieved in the next few years. And then I've got to talk about my friend Joel Kretz, represents the 7th District, has been here for 20 years, was my very good friend first, and then became deputy leader of the House Republicans, and had been even before I was leader of the House Republicans. Joel has lived on the farm during the session for the last 3 years. He got married on the farm, and I could not have a better friend in the world, really, than Joel Kretz. And so that's the thing, in some ways, that's going to last for me forever. Well, I would say aspire to be a politician that was able to be themselves. And the first way that you do that is quit watching TV. One of the smart moves that I made I think at the very beginning was I said I'm not going to watch national news. I haven't watched Fox, I haven't watched MSNBC, I haven't watched CNN. Those things are there to inflame you, not to turn you into a productive individual. And I think the other thing that you should try to do is look at what politicians on TV do and be exactly the opposite. There's no better way to do politics than to find out, you know, what's best in you and try to be yourself as authentically as you possibly can. Because it's hard to do, and because not that many people decide to do that, the benefits of doing that are just immense. And I think there's been nothing more important for me than really trying to access what are my real values. And here's the crazy thing: as I've gotten older, my mom died about a week before my first swearing in. And I cannot tell you how many times I've thought about what my mom would do. Well, I think that's the hardest thing for people to do, and it's the place where more people damage their effectiveness. You know, you don't come here to give up your ideology, and people elected you to stand up for them. And if you were authentic, they validated the things that you said were important to you. So you have to stand up for those things. But you also have to understand that, like almost everything else in life, your accomplishments depend on the relationships that you form. And this is a place that can accommodate two different sides. It can, in fact, it can accommodate a lot more than that. It can accommodate partisanship. But if you turn that personal, you will not accomplish very much. And so what you do is you try to communicate your values, you try to communicate the values of the people that you represent, and then you figure out how can I effectively achieve as much of that as possible. And you do it by being pleasant, by being honest. There's nothing more important in this than being honest, and you do it by not burning bridges gratuitously. I had a really close friend recently tell me that he works with a lot of business people, and he said that they don't really know how they are supposed to behave around politics anymore. And one of my messages to business people is politics cares about you whether you care about politics or not. But there are no examples for them to follow. And the thing that I've tried more than anything else, because I've been in the minority and have not had the ability to accomplish things like passing major bills, it has been to provide the best example I could for how do you successfully engage in your own government. And I think that that has been a worthwhile mission for me, and I've heard from people that they've appreciated that. Well, I'm not going to retire. I'm kind of addicted to work, and I'm going to spend maybe a little more time with Kathy. I'm going to spend a lot more time on the farm, but I am also going to engage with the business community and with natural resource causes, because this is very important to me. I believe in the sustainable use of our natural resources. I don't believe that we lock them up and prevent people from being able to enjoy them. I believe that we take care of them and then we utilize them, and those are things that I'm going to be very interested in the future. I'm going to miss friends that I have here, but maybe something that is even deeper than that, if you can be deeper than friends. People that come to the legislature, sometimes they're a little afraid. They come from your district or they come from other places, and they look at you with hope and trust, and sometimes a little bit of trepidation. And it's inspiring to have people trust you, even if they don't know you. And that's one thing that I tell people that come to Olympia. Just expose yourself and your values, and have faith, because your faith is inspiring to people that have to vote here. Well, thanks for having me. I've done the best I can, and I have faith in our government. I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have spent 14 years here if I didn't. We're in a bad time now. I don't know anyone that thinks we're not in a bad time, but we're going to come back into a good time. And the newer people that are down here in Olympia, the ones that you don't hear about, the ones who are kind of anonymous, are the ones that are working behind the scenes to do good things. And my heart is always with the folks that don't have a thirst for press. They don't need to hear their name. They're the ones that just want to work hard, and have faith that there's a lot of them here.